December 28th. I'm going to give a quick rundown of what occurred on that day. We had tornado watches were issued that morning at 10:15. Our first tornado warning was issued for Montgomery County at 11:31 that morning. A second one was issued at 12:03, and then touchdown was at 12:05. The area where touchdown happened was covered in the first tornado warning, so there was adequate warning for that. However, the second warning was issued to extend further as the tracker force was expected to go further. The tornado was rated by the National Weather Service as an EF3. That was with maximum sustained winds of 140 miles an hour. It ended up on the ground for 10.3 miles and was 1,675 yards wide at one point in time, which is just shy of 1,760 yards makes a mile. So very wide and very long track tornado. It's sort of unusual for this part of Texas. It's not our first EF3. Back in December 12, 1968, we had F3. They were called Fs at the time. The E wasn't added until 2007. It started around the old Creosote Plant here in Conroe and tracked northeast through Cut and Shoot. It was on the ground about 6.5 miles and was only 200 yards wide back then. So not our first, but this would make our largest and most destructive tornado to date. First responders from multiple agencies began surging resources to the affected area, establishing a unified command, began working the emergency calls for service. Total of 15 patients were treated as a result of the storm. 10 were transported to local hospitals. 1 was urgent. 5 refused transport at the scene. Beginning immediately after stabilization, the incident damage assessments were conducted. Judge Keogh and Jason Smith took a flight with DPS to start looking at the track and getting an aerial overview of the situation. In total, 302 structures received damage. 179 of them were cosmetic. 46 were considered minorly destroyed. 47 were major, and 30 were completely destroyed. Looking forward, the vegetative debris has already started. Commissioner Gray started to pick up debris that day on Saturday. All of your offices have assisted, from my understanding, in that as well. And Commissioner Gray will continue to run point on pick up of the debris in the affected area, and we'll coordinate OEM with him if he needs any assistance. We've had a lot of questions regarding FEMA and FEMA assistance from residents. While Judge Keogh has issued a declaration and the court just renewed the disaster declaration, we have yet to receive the governor's disaster declaration for the incident. As a result of that, we have not received a presidentially declared disaster for the incident. Without the presidential disaster declaration, we will not receive FEMA assistance. Starting today, the Small Business Administration will be in town working with TDM and OEM. They'll be surveying the damage. As soon as we've met their threshold for damage, the SBA declaration will occur, and residents will be eligible for disaster loans from the SBA shortly. We're pretty confident we've met the disaster threshold on the destruction.
What's that threshold?
25 residents. So we feel confident when they go put eyes on the damage today that we'll meet that based on our own assessments and the state's assessments, and it's just a matter of formality at that point. But nothing formal yet. Once the SBA gives us the declaration and loans are available to residents and homeowners, business owners, we'll push that information out to your offices and social media and stuff like.
Is there a money threshold we got to meet before we
To
start
get
trying to get
the governor's disaster declaration, there's 2 parts: the county's threshold and the state's threshold. So the county's threshold is a little over $2.8 million, and that's in non-insured losses and losses to public property. And so, if you know tornadoes well, unlike floods, a lot of folks don't have flood insurance, so you get a lot of non-insured losses in. But in a tornado, more than not, have homeowners insurance or business insurance that covers wind and tornado damage.
That number's going to be hard to reach.
It's hard to reach. The state's threshold to get a presidentially declared disaster is well over $80 million in uninsured losses. And so some of the big ticket items that were affected that day, like the fire station in Precinct 4, or there was a school down in Waller County that was destroyed, they're insured. And so hitting those thresholds are going to be really tough, and that's why the delay in the declarations from the governor and the federal government. It's not that they don't care, it's just the Stafford Act spells out laws and the specific thresholds that we have to meet to get. Montgomery County's threshold does not have to be met to issue the disaster declaration. That is so we can operate under the emergency terms and be able to cure things and address the situation without having to have special court every time we need to do something. So I don't have any action items under that item. That was just really a rundown of where we were. I was not here, unfortunately, so the team at OEM did their jobs and did it very well without me, and I'm very thankful to have a good team of people at OEM. Of course, the judge was on the ground within minutes, and Jason from the judge's office was covering for him and backing him up. So we did everything we could, including pushing out the warnings and the watches. I do encourage the residents, if they don't have it, to download and sign up for Alert MCTX. That is the county's alert system. It was on point that day, and alerts did go out. A lot of people said they don't get them. If you were relying solely on your cell phone, a lot of people mute those warnings and alerts, those phones get out. So Alert MCTX will be specific to you here in the county, and you won't get the general regional alerts that people try to mute when they get them on their phones.
Jason, I do want to mention something. You know, the way that everybody was there so quickly. Numerous citizens commented on it, the way that each of the commissioners responded with people that were there, and your people came. At the end of the day, it is a testimony to our planning and emergency management in conjunction with the constables. Rowdy, especially your group was out there just hitting it hard, as well as others that come from other areas. But you're to be applauded. I know you were on a cruise while we were all in the rain. But that being said, you have trained your people well, and you've trained the processes and practiced, and it shows. So kudos.
But it's, you know, Rowdy and his team in the sheriff's department, they don't need, you know, training on this. They've been here forever. They've done this. Unfortunately, East County is not immune to disaster, and they've done this well. But working together is something new, and we've been doing it really well since 2019. Is working in a collaborative fashion to ensure everybody doesn't need for something. So that's something that we've done. And if I could, I would trade it. It's cold. I'd rather be on a cruise this week than the last week. But either way, I'm back now. So,
It won't be long before you'll be on another one.
Thank you so much for all your help during this. I'm going to make a few comments on that. Rowdy is here, and I want to take a moment and give you some special recognition. Precinct 4 Constable in my office work hand in hand, so much that those guys are even outfitted with chainsaws. You talk about first responder, the constables, they'll drop what they're doing aside from giving criminal chase to help open up the roads until we get the equipment there, and we really appreciate it. It's a great partnership. I want to also acknowledge and recognize Chief Carter Johnson and also Chief Reinwald with New Canaan Fire and Porter Fire Department. Those guys were outstanding in getting the roads opened up. Our guys got the equipment out in record time. We were opening up the roads, and all of these folks were coming on. Mind you, this is the holidays. This is between Christmas and New Year's Day. What other, exactly, Saturday. What better way to end 2024 after some of the challenges we've had? But thank you, everybody. All these guys up here, the judge, yourself. My phone was blowing up with people offering to help, getting equipment over there. And my understanding is every constable reached out to Constable Hayden. Those guys sent over reinforcements, and you talk about a community and a county coming together. We appreciate it. It's very unfortunate. I don't know if anyone's ever witnessed a hurricane, or we've all witnessed a hurricane, haven't we? A tornado, but they're scary, and they leave a path of destruction. There's a lot of damage over there we're recovering from. I think we're at roughly around 10,000 cubic yards so far. What we've picked up, the debris. We've just got some things on the agenda today to dispose of this, which we'll be discussing. And we couldn't do it without everybody helping us, not this fast anyway. So with that said, thank you to everybody that stepped up. And secondly, I want to comment on the point you made. The judge did declare a disaster, but you know, there's no state or federal funds paying for this right now. This is the county tax dollars and the county resources that we're using to go pick up all the debris and get it staged and get it prepared to dispose of. And we're trying to do that as efficiently as possible. So what we would ask the residents is get it out to the road as fast as possible. We're making a pass or dispose of what you can and cut up and burn and get rid of if you can, or if you're in a rural enough area to do so. And we'll make another pass, but we're going to do this as quickly and as efficiently as possible. You want your resources and you want your commissioner digging ditches and building roads. Not doing this, but we're responding as as quickly as possible. So with that being said, thank everybody for all your help.
Appreciate it, for sure. We're just very thankful. We thank God that no one was seriously hurt. I went out Saturday as soon as I got back in town and drove the path and talked to homeowners, and it is amazing. Almost everybody was home because it was the holidays and Saturday, and how no one was seriously wounded in some of these structures is just a testament to God. So we're very thankful for that. I have nothing further on agenda item A unless the court has an item for action. Consider and discuss, item B, consider, discuss, and approve license agreement between Connie Pagan and Montgomery, and authorize Judge Q to sign this. This is essentially a land use agreement. VD worked on this contract with the homeowner or the landowner. This would give us rights to use the property for the next 90 days at a cost of $12,500 in order for us to store the debris, and then ultimately we're going to burn the debris.
I'll move on it, and also want to thank that family for allowing us to do this and making this agreement with us to be able to handle
And
this.
we need a funding source for this. We worked on the agreement, but Amanda needs a funding source.
Amanda?
Yeah, so we can either use carryover disaster, or we can use our contingency, whatever you guys, a
Carryover disaster.
How much money is in the carryover?
little over 200,000.
Carryover disasters, take it from there. Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item C, Jason.
Item C is consider, discuss, take appropriate action regarding the exemption of the employee's policy manual for